Hi, this is Gautam. Welcome to the seventh episode of Atlas Agenda. And for today's episode, we're going to look at Yemen. Yemen was in news, or it has been in news for quite some time, and the major reason is because of the civil war. So, as all of you know, Yemen is present in southwestern part of Arabian Peninsula, and it is present right here. And Yemen has been in a protracted civil war for quite some time. We have two warring parties. One warring party in northern part of Yemen, and the other warring party in the southern part of Yemen. As you would have followed the news article, the northern part of Yemen has the support of Saudi Arabia, and the forces in the south are supported by the United Arab Emirates. So, what started as a local civil war conflict had expanded into proxy war supported by two different powers for establishing their supremacy in the Arabian Peninsula. Now, again, as I told you before, the purpose of Atlas Agenda is to not focus on the news, but to focus on questions which will be directly helpful for our prelims examination. So, for today's discussion, we'll be focusing on Yemen's position, on how it can be asked as questions in your prelims exam. So, talking about the location, Yemen is important for geopolitics, especially because of its location close to the Strait of Bab el Mandeb. So, what exactly is the Strait of Bab el Mandeb? Well, think back to what is a strait. Strait is a narrow water body, and this narrow water body connects two large water bodies, which is present right here. The Strait of Bab el Mandeb is connecting Red Sea, which is present in the north, with the Gulf of Aden, which you find right here in the south. Gulf of Aden is part of your Arabian Sea and the largest segment of your Indian Ocean. So, if you move through your Red Sea, it is possible to reach Mediterranean Sea through your Suez Canal, for which we'll have a quick discussion at the end. Now, the point being, the Strait of Bab el Mandeb, which you find right here, is responsible for close to 12 to 15 percentage of global trade. And where does most of the trade pass through? This trade is primarily between European countries and your Asian countries. So there is a direct chance where they can frame this as a prelims question. That's part one. Now, talking about rivers and lakes which are present in Yemen, please remember that Yemen is an arid country and it does not have permanent water courses, and it has highlands predominantly on the western side and on the eastern side, and the border with Saudi Arabia is a desert. The mention of the desert, which you find right here, Rubal Khali, is the largest sandy desert in the world, and this physiographic feature also extends into northern part of Yemen. In fact, more than 25 years back, it was important bilateral controversy between Yemen and Saudi Arabia to demarcate this boundary because it's principally an arid desertic climatic region. And this is where recently a region was in news. Now, what region are we talking about? Well, in the civil war, in the last 2 3 months, southern part of Yemen, the forces, that is the Southern Transition Council, which was supported by, remember it is STC, the Southern Transition Council, which was supported by United Arab Emirates, had a protracted war with the north, which was supported by Saudi Arabia. And hope you remember episode number 3 where we spoke about Sudan, and I mentioned that UPSC has a tendency to ask match the following questions where they provide a region in news and ask you which country it is in. The region which was reportedly present in news was this, Hadramaut. And Hadramaut may be asked as a match the following question for Yemen. And second point regarding cities, there are two important cities in Yemen, and all of you would know the capital city. The capital city is Sana'a. That's the administrative capital, but the economic capital of Yemen is this city, Aden. So, for match the following, remember the two cities which are present right there and this important province. Before I take you to Red Sea, I would just like to mention there are major islands which will be helpful for the examination. The two groups of islands are, the first one is this, called as Hanish Islands. Hanish Islands. Hanish Islands was a bilateral dispute between Yemen and Eritrea close to 30 years ago. The dispute has been resolved after they took it to international arbitration. But again, for match the following, it will be helpful. And secondly, the place of Socotra. Socotra is an island in Arabian Sea, and this is the largest island in the Arabian Sea which belongs to Yemen. So all these five locations which we discussed right now would be important for prelims examination. And to finalize the discussion, as we were talking about Yemen, we just have a small look about Red Sea. So we just talked about the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb, and through the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb, along with the Red Sea, it's possible to enter into the Mediterranean Sea due to a Suez Canal. So we just want to have a quick review on the countries which border the Red Sea. There are totally 8 countries, 6 primary countries in total. I think you can easily find them. We are talking about Egypt on the northwestern side. The second is Sudan on the western side. The third being Eritrea on the southwestern side. The other countries are Saudi Arabia on the eastern side, and then Yemen. We spoke in detail about Yemen today. Yemen on the southeastern side. The exit of the Red Sea is found along this country, which is called as Djibouti. So in total, you have 6 primary countries. Now, what are the other 2 countries? Well, the other 2 countries are Israel and Jordan. To have better clarity, we have to focus on this region. The region which you find right there is called as Sinai Peninsula, which belongs to Egypt. This Sinai Peninsula divides the Red Sea into north into 2 gulfs. What gulfs are we talking about? We are talking about the Gulf of Suez. As I mentioned before, you just look at this picture. That is your Sinai Peninsula. So if you zoom in into this area, you'll find 2 gulfs. So one is the Gulf of Suez, and the second is the Gulf of Aqaba. And if you pay attention, you will see that towards Gulf of Aqaba, you have the small opening for both Israel and Jordan. So please keep that in mind. Even though for proper Red Sea, the proper Red Sea, you immediately have 6 countries, that is Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and at the opening of Red Sea, we have Djibouti, the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb. We have 2 other countries, Israel and Jordan, which are not directly connected, directly part of Red Sea, but they do share a border with Red Sea indirectly through Gulf of Aqaba. So that totally makes it 8 countries. So that is the end of episode number 7. Now, before I close, as usual, we have this episode's question. And I've told you before, what you focus on always determines what you exactly miss. So the discussion was regarding Yemen and Red Sea, and we want to ask the question regarding Persian Gulf. So you can look at the following countries: Iraq, Qatar, Bahrain, and then finally Jordan. So in the 4 countries which you find right here, what are the countries which border Persian Gulf? So I leave you with this question at the end. Meet you with the next episode on next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. This is Gautam signing off. Bye for now.